Repetition of birth and death.
Translation: I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again, so that we can see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths.
So, very interesting verse. That before calamities, danger, that is very good if such danger and calamities remind me of Krishna. That is very good. Tattenukampa susumiksamana bunyana evatma kritam vipakam. A devotee, how he receives dangerous position. Danger must be there. Danger because this place, this material world is full of dangers. These foolish persons, they do not know that. They are trying to avoid the dangers. That is struggle for existence. Everyone is trying to become happy and avoid danger. This is the material business. Attantika sukham. Attantik sukh, ultimate happiness. A man is working and thinking, let me work now very hard and let me have some bank balance, so when I shall get old, I shall enjoy life without any working. That is the inner intention of everyone. Nobody wants to work. As soon as he gets some money, he wants to retire from work and to become happy. But that is not possible. You cannot be happy in that way. Here it is said, apunar bhavadarsana. The real danger is, she is picking up apunar. Apunar means, a means not. And punarbhava means repetition of birth and death. The real danger is repetition of birth and death. That has to be stopped. And not this so-called danger. This is all, the material world is full of dangers. Padang padang jada vipadang. Just like if you are on the ocean. If you are on the ocean, you might have very strong ship, very safe ship. But that is not safety. Because you are on the sea, at any time there can be dangers. Perhaps you remember from your country, there was, what is that, Titanic? Everything was safe, but on the first voyage it was drowned. And all important men of your country, they lost their life. So danger there must be, because you are in a dangerous position. This material world itself is dangerous position. So our business is, the danger must be there. Our business should be how to cross over the sea as soon as possible. So long you are on the sea, you are on the dangerous position, however strong your ship may be. That's a fact. See, you should not be disturbed by the sea waves. Just try to cross over the sea, go to the other side. That is your business. Similarly, so long we are in this material world, there must be dangerous calamities, because this is the place of calamity. So our business is, even within these calamities, dangers, how we develop our Krishna consciousness, and after giving up this body, we go back to home, back to Krishna. That should be our business. We should not be disturbed by the so-called calamities. They are not so-called, they are factual. So, this question was there by Arjuna to Krishna, that whatever you are speaking, it is all right, that I am not this body, I am soul. Everyone is not this body, he is soul. So on the annihilation of this body, stop there. On the annihilation of the body, the soul will exist. But when I see my son is dying, or my grandfather is dying, I am killing, how can I solace me that my grandfather is not dying, my son is not dying? Simply it is changing, because I am accustomed to think like that. So there must be grief. So Krishna replied, yes, that's a fact. But that you must have to tolerate, that's all. There is no other remedy. Tang titikasa bharat. Krishna never said that these are not facts. What Arjuna explained, that I know that when my son is dying, my son is changing the body, or my grandfather is dying, changing the body. I know this, but still, because I am affectionate on the skin, so I must suffer. The Krishna replied, yes, the suffering is there, because you are also on the bodily concept of life. So suffering must be there. So there is no other remedy than to tolerate. There is no other remedy. Matra sparshastu kontiya sitosna sukha dukkhada. Just like in your country, it is very chilly in the morning to take bath, a little difficult task. But does it mean that those who are devotees, they will stop taking bath? No. Even it is chilly, cold, one must take bath. The duty must be done. The duty must be done. Even it is little suffering, that is called tapasya. Tapasya means we must prolong or proceed with our Krishna consciousness, business, in spite of all dangerous and calamitous condition of this world. This is called tapasya. Tapasya means voluntarily accepting the difficulties of life. Sometimes tapasya, in the system of tapasya, in hot season, summer, and scorching heat of the sun, still they ignite some fire all round and sit down in the midst and meditate. There are some processes of tapasya like that. In chilly cold, one goes into the water up to the neck and meditates. These things are prescribed in tapasya, but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not give you such prescription. He gives you a very nice program. Chant, dance and take prasadam. Still we are unwilling. We cannot accept this tapasya. You see, we are so fallen. Susukham kartum abhyam. This is a kind of tapasya which is very easy to do and it is very pleasant. Still we are not agreeable. We shall rot in the street, lie down anywhere and everywhere, and still I shall drink and have sex and lie down. So what can be done? We are giving good facilities. Come here, chant, dance, and live very peacefully and take Krishna Prasad, be happy, but people will not accept. That is called misfortune. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore said, Etadrisi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi duddaiva idrisamiha janinanuragam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Nam namakari bahuda nijasadva shakti. In the transcendental holy name of God, Krishna, there is all potencies. As Krishna has got unlimited potencies, similarly in the name, holy name of Krishna, there is unlimited potency. So, Nam Namakari Bodha, and there are many names of Krishna. Krishna has got thousands and thousands of names. Krishna name is the chief name. Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti Tatrapita Niyamita Smaranina Kala. And there is no hard and fast rule that you have to chant in this time or that time. No, any time. Any time you can take. And the name is identical with Krishna. On this logic, the name, holy name of Krishna is Krishna, is no other than Krishna. Don't think that Krishna is living in Goloka Vrindavan and the name is different. Just like in material world we have got this conception. The name is different from the fact. But in absolute world there is no such difference. That is called absolute. The name is as potential as Krishna is potential. So, you have got this tongue, you can chant Krishna, Hare Krishna, immediately you become directly in touch with Krishna. Immediately. Because the name Krishna and Krishna person is not different, identical. So even if you think that Krishna is far, far away, Krishna is not far, far away, Krishna is within you. He is not far away. He is far away, at the same time nearest. So, even if you think that Krishna is far, far, his name is there. You chant Hare Krishna, Krishna becomes immediately available. Anyamitas. And for making Krishna available in this shortcut way, there is no hard and fast rule. You can chant any time. Immediately you get Krishna. Just see the mercy of Krishna. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Etadrisi tava kripa. My dear Lord, you have given me so nice facilities to contact you, but duddaiva, I am so unfortunate. I have no attachment for this thing. I have no attachment. I have got so many attachments for other things. But I have no attachment for chanting Hare Krishna. This is my misfortune. Krishna has given so much facilities that he is present before you by transcendental vibration in his name, and the name has got all the potencies of Krishna. So if you remain in contact with the name, you get all the benefit of Krishna's benediction, but still I am not inclined to chant Hare Krishna. This is misfortune. So, a devotee never takes dangerous position as very reverse position or very calamitous position. He welcomes. Because a surrendered soul, he knows either danger or festival. These are all different demonstration of Krishna. Krishna is absolute. In its Shastra it is said that just like there are two kinds, two sides, religiosity and irreligiosity, just the opposite. But in the Shastra it is said, the religiosity is just the front portion of God, and irreligiosity is the back portion of God. So, God's front portion or back portion, is there any difference? God is absolute. Therefore, a devotee, either in opulence or in danger, he is not disturbed. He knows both these things are Krishna. Either in dangerous position. Now Krishna has appeared before me as danger. Just like Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad Maharaj and Nrsimhadev. Nrsimhadev is dangerous to Hiranyakashipu. And he is the supreme friend to Prahlad Maharaj, the same personality. Similarly, God is never dangerous to the devotee. Devotee is never afraid of danger. He is confident that the danger that is another feature of God. So why shall I be afraid? I am surrendered to Him. So Kunti Devi says that Vipada Santu. Vipada Santu Ta Sassat. Because she knows how to remember Krishna at times of danger. So she is welcoming danger. My dear Lord, I welcome such dangers when I can remember you. Just like Prahlad Maharaj, he was always thinking of Krishna when his father was putting him in dangerous position. So, if you are put into the dangerous position, and if that dangerous position gives an impetus to remember Krishna, that is welcome. That is welcome. Oh, I am getting this opportunity of remembering Krishna. So how it is welcome? It is welcome because seeing Krishna means I am advancing in my spiritual life so that I will not have to suffer any more of this dangerous position. Takta dehang punarjanma naiti mami krikantiya. If you become advanced in Krishna consciousness, then the result will be, after giving up this body, Krishna says, Takta dehang, after giving up this body, punat janma naiti, you don't take birth again in this material world. That is wanted. Suppose I am very comfortable at the present moment. My body is kept in a very comfortable position. But there is death and there is another birth. So after giving up this body, if I get the body of a cat and dog, then what is the meaning of this comfortable position? Because death is sure. And janmantam tatha dehantaram. Dehantaram means you have to accept another body. If you do not know what kind of body you are going to get, you can know it. That is stated in the Shastra, that if you have got such and such mentality, you get such and such body. So, in a comfortable position, if I keep myself in the dog's mentality, then I am going to get my next life as dog. Then what is the value of this comfortable position? I may be in comfortable position for 20 years, 50 years, or at most 100 years. And after that comfortable position, when I give up this body, if due to my mentality I become a cat and dog and mouse, then what is the benefit of this comfortable position? These people, they do not know that. They think, especially in this age, that I am now in comfortable position. I have got enough money, I have got enough state, I have enough comforts, enough food. So, as soon as the body is finished, so I am not going to take birth again. So long I am living, let me enjoy life. This is the modern philosophy, hedonism. But that is not the fact. Kunti is therefore anxious, apunarbhava darshanam. Apunarbhava, not to repeat. If you see always Krishna, that is Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means always thinking of Krishna. Your consciousness should be absorbed in Krishna thought. Therefore, we give different varieties of engagement. Krishna consciousness. We should not divert our energy. Now, when we are selling bow, that is Krishna consciousness, we are selling bow. But if we think that the selling bow may be diverted into selling jewelry, that is not very good idea. That is not very good idea. Then we become again jeweler, punarmosika bhava. Again become mouse. We should be very much careful. Our Krishna consciousness cannot be diverted, then you are gone to hell. Even there is danger, even there is suffering in Krishna consciousness, we should tolerate. That is the instruction. We should welcome that danger and pray to Krishna. What is that prayer? Tatte nukampa susumikshaman. My dear Lord, it is your great mercy that I am put into this dangerous position. And that is the viewpoint of devotee. He doesn't take danger as danger. He takes it is Krishna's mercy. What kind of mercy? Bhunjana evatma kritang vipapam. Due to my past activities, I was to suffer so much. But you are mitigating that suffering, giving me little suffering. Just like a token punishment. Sometimes in the court, a big man is culprit. So if the judge wants $100,000, he can pay immediately. But he asks from him, you just give 1 cent. Because that is also punishment, but minimizing. Similarly, we have to suffer on account of our past deeds. That's a fact. You cannot avoid. Karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti vaja. But those who are in devotional service, those who are in Krishna consciousness, their sufferings are minimized. A token. Just like one was to be killed. So instead of being killed with his knife, he gets some little cut on the finger. In this way, karmani nirdahati kintu sabha, those who are in devotional service, they are aham tang sarva pape bhamokhosyami. Krishna assures that I give you protection from the reaction of sinful life. So, when there is very, very grievous criminal activities behind it, sometimes it is like that. Instead of hanging him, there may be a little cut by the knife on the finger. This is the position. So why should we be afraid of danger? We should simply depend on Krishna consciousness, because if we leave Krishna conscious in any circumstances, then my benefit is that I am not coming again in this material. Apunarbhava darsana. Repeatedly as you think of Krishna, as you see Krishna, as you read of Krishna, as you work for Krishna, somehow or other, if you remain in Krishna consciousness, that is your benefit. And that benefit will save you from taking birth again in this material world. And that is real benefit. And if I am become little comfortable by so-called other engagement, and if I forget Krishna and I have to take birth again, then what is my benefit? We should be very much careful about this. Krishna consciousness cannot be disturbed at any circumstances. Even there is heavy suffering. That is the instruction of Kunti Devi. Kunti Devi is welcoming. Vipada santu ta tatrata. Like that. Because before winning the battle of Kurukshetra, all these Pandavas were put into so many dangerous positions. That is already described in the previous verses. Sometimes they are offered poison, sometimes they are put into the house, lack, and it was set fire. Sometimes big demons, man-eaters and big fighters. Every time they lost their kingdom, lost their wife, lost their prestige, they were put into the forest, full of dangers. But within all those dangers, Krishna was there. With all those dangers. When the Draupadi was being naked, Krishna was there supplying cloth. Krishna was always there. Therefore, Bhishma, while he was dying, he was grandfather of the Pandavas. So when the Pandavas came to see him on his deathbed, so he cried that these boys, my grandsons, they're all very pious. Maharaj Yudhishthira, the topmost pious person. His name is Dharmaraj, the king of religiosity. He is the eldest brother. And Bhim and Arjuna, they are devotees and so great hero. They can kill thousands of men. They are so powerful. So Yudhishthira is there, and Bhima is there, Arjuna is there, and Draupadi is directly the goddess of fortune. There was this injunction that wherever Draupadi will be there will be no scarcity of food. In this way, the combination was so nice, and over and above them, Krishna is always with them. And still they are suffering. So he began to cry. I do not know what is the arrangement of Krishna. Such pious men, such devotees, they are also suffering. So, don't think that because I have become a devotee, there will be no danger, no suffering. Prahlad Maharaj suffered so much, the Pandavas suffered so much, Haridas Thakur suffered so much, but we should not be disturbed by those suffering. We must have firm faith, firm conviction that Krishna is there, he will give me protection. Kauntya pratijanihi name bhakta pranasati. Don't try to take benefit of other shelter than Krishna. Always stick to Krishna. Krishna says, Kauntya pratijanihi name bhakta pranasati. My dear Arjuna, you can declare it to the public that my devotees are never vanquished. Why declaration was advised to be made by Arjuna? Why he did not declare himself? There is some point. Because this declaration, if Krishna makes, there may be violation, because sometimes he violated his promise. But if his devotee promises, it will be never violated. That is Krishna's business. Oh, my devotee has declared this. I must see that it must be executed. That is Krishna's position. is so much attached to his devotee. Therefore he said that you declare. If I declare, people may not believe it. But if you declare, they will believe it, because you are devotee. Your declaration will never be. Jasya prasadat bhagavat prasad. Krishna wants to see that my devotee's promise is fulfilled. My promise may not be fulfilled, may be broken. So this is Krishna consciousness. We must stick to Krishna consciousness at all circumstances, even in the most dangerous position. We must keep our faith in Krishna's lotus feet, and there will be no danger. Thank you very much.
Bhakti Vedanta Swami Ite Namine
ever, arhati, deserves, abhitatum, address and feeling, vai, certainly, tvam, you, akinchana gocharam, one who is approached easily by the materially exhausted man. Translation, my Lord, your lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted. One who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty, cannot approach you with sincere feeling.
So, these are the disqualifications. Material opulence, these things, Janma, to take birth in very aristocratic family or nation, just like you American boys and girls, you are born of rich father, mother, nation. So this is, in one sense, it is God's grace. That is also to take birth in nice family or in nice nation, to become opulent, very rich, to become advanced in knowledge, education, everything material, and beauty. These are the gifts of pious activities. Otherwise, why a poor man, he does not attract anyone's attention, but a rich man attracts. Educated man attracts the attention. A fool rascal does not attract attention. So, similarly in beauty, in opulence, these things are materially very beneficial. Janmai Sabja Sutta. But when a person is materially opulent in this way, he becomes intoxicated. I am the rich man, I am educated man, I have got money, become intoxicated. Therefore, we advise, because they are already intoxicated by this position. And again intoxication, Then by nature, these people are already intoxicated. Intoxicated in this sense, just like if you drink wine, you become intoxicated. You are flying in the sky, you are thinking like that. You have gone to the heaven here. So, these are the effects of intoxication. But the intoxicated person does not know that this intoxication will be finished. It is within the time limit. It is not going to continue. That is called illusion. One is intoxication. I am very rich. I am very educated. I am very beautiful. I am born in high family, in high nation. That's all right. But this intoxication, how long it will exist? Suppose you are American, you are rich, you are beautiful, you are advanced in knowledge, and you can be proud and become American. But how long this intoxication will exist? As soon as this body is finished, everything is finished. All intoxicated. Just like same thing, you drink something, become intoxicated, but as soon as that intoxication is over, all your intoxicated dreams are over, finished. So this intoxication, if you remain in intoxication over in the sky and mental platform, these are mental platform, egoistic platform, bodily platform, but you are not this body, not this gross body and the subtle body. This gross body is made of earth, water, air, fire, sky, and the subtle body is made of mind, intelligence and ego. But you do not belong to these 8 elements of Parayam in the Bhagavad Gita. This is inferior energy of God. Even one is very mentally advanced, he does not know that he is under the influence of inferior energy. He does not know. That is intoxication. Just like intoxicated person does not know in what condition he is. So, this opulent position is intoxication. And if you increase your intoxication, the modern civilization is that we are already intoxicated, and increase the intoxication. We have to become out of the intoxication situation. But the modern civilization is increasing, that you become more intoxicated and go to hell. This is the position of the modern civilization. So, Kunti said that this intoxication position, mada, edamana, mada, increasing, puman, such person, naivarhati, they cannot feelingly address Jaya Radha Madhava. They cannot feelingly. That's not possible. They are feeling, spiritual feeling is lost. They cannot feelingly address because they do not know. This God is for poor man, they cannot have sufficient food, let them go to the church and ask, oh God, give us our daily bread. Oh, we have got enough bread, why shall I go to church? This is their opinion. And therefore, nowadays, in the days of economic development, nobody is interested going to the church or temple. I don't know what is nonsense. Why shall I go to the church for asking bread? We shall develop economic condition and there will be sufficient supply of bread. That's the communist country, they do so. The communist country, they make propaganda in the villages. They ask the people to go to the church and ask for bread. The innocent people, they ask as usual, "Oh God, give us our daily bread." Then when they come out of the church, these communist people ask, "Have you got bread?" They say, "No, sir." "All right, ask us." And then they ask, "Oh, communist friend, give me bread." And the communist friend has taken a truckload of bread. Take as much as you like, take. So who is better? We are better or your God is better? They say, "No, sir, you are better." Because they have no intelligence. They do not inquire that you rascal, where from you have brought this bread? Have you manufactured in your factory? Can you manufacture grains, the ingredients of bread in your factory? Because they have no intelligence. Shudra. They are called Shudra. Shudra means those who have no intelligence. They take it as it is. But one who is Brahmana, one who is advanced in intelligence, he will inquire immediately, "You rascal, where from you brought this bread?" That is the question of the Brahmana. You cannot manufacture bread. You have simply transformed God's grain. The grain is, the weight is given by God, and you have simply transformed. By transforming something from something, that does not become your property. Just like I give some carpenter some wood, some implement and salary, and he makes a very nice, beautiful closet. To whom this closet will belong? To the carpenter or to the man who has supplied the ingredients? To whom it will begin? The carpenter cannot say that because I have transformed this wood into such nice closet, it is mine. No, it is not yours. Similarly, who is supplying the ingredient, rascal? That is Krishna. Krishna says, Bhumirapana lavayu kangamano buddhira. Prakriti me ashtadha. This is my property. You have not created this sea, the land, the sky, the fire, the air. It is not your creation. You can transform these material things, tejabharimid vinimayam, by mixing and transforming. You take earth from the land, you take water from the sea, and mix it and put it in the fire, it becomes a brick, and then you pile up all this brick and make a skyscraper building. But where from you got this ingredient, rascal, that you are claiming this skyscraper yours? This is intelligent question. You have stolen the property of God, and you are claiming that it is your property. This is knowledge. This is knowledge. So, those who are intoxicated, they cannot understand. They think, it is my property. I have stolen this land of America from the Red Indians. Now it is my property. But he does not know that he is a thief. He is a thief. Tena avasa uchyate in the Bhagavad Gita. One who takes the property of God and claims his own, he is a thief. Stena avasa uchyate. Therefore, we have got communistic idea. A devotee, Krishna conscious person. We have got Krishna conscious communistic program. What is that? That everything belongs to God. Just like they are thinking that everything belongs to the state. These communists, Muscovites, or the Russian or the Chinese, they are thinking state-wise. But we are thinking not state-wise, we are thinking God-wise. Everything belongs to God. The same philosophy you extend, simply you require little intelligence. Little intelligence. Why do you think that this state belongs to a few number of people? If you think that the population, American population, this land of America belongs to this population, why do you think like that? You think this is a property of God. So, every living entity is a child of God. God is the Supreme Father. And Krishna says, Aham bija pita. I am the seed-giving Father of all living entities. Sarvajonishu kaunteya. In whichever form they may live. They are all living entities, they are my sons. Actually, that is the fact. We are living entities. We are sons of God. But we have forgotten. Therefore we are fighting. Just like in a nice family, if anyone knows, father is supplying us food, so we brothers, why should we fight? Similarly, if we become God conscious, if we become Krishna conscious, this fighting will be over. I am American, I am Indian, I am Russian, I am Chinese. These are nonsense things will be over. Krishna consciousness movement is so nice. As soon as people become Krishna conscious, these fighting, these political fighting, national fighting will be over immediately. Because they will come to real consciousness that everything belongs to God. And as the children, a child of the family has got right to take advantages from the father, similarly, if everyone is part and parcel of God, if everyone is child of God, then everyone has got the right to use the property of the father. So, that right is not that the right belongs to the human being. According to Bhagavad Gita, this right belongs to all living entities, never mind whether he is living being or animal or trees or birds or beasts or insect. That is Krishna consciousness. We do not think in terms of that simply my brother is good, I am good, and all bad. This kind of narrow, crippled consciousness we hate, we kick out. We think, Pandita Samadarshina. In the Bhagavad Gita you'll find, Vidya Vinay Sampanne Brahmani Gavi Hastini Sunichita Sapakecha. Pandita Samadarshina. One is Pandit, one is learned. He sees every living entity on the equal footing. Therefore, a Vaishnava is so compassionate. Lokanang hitakarino. They can actually do the beneficial work to the human being. They are saying, actually feeling, that all these living entities, they are part and parcel of God. Somewhere or other, they have fallen in the contact of this material world, and according to different karma, they have assumed different types of bodies. So Pandita, those who are learned, they have no discrimination. That this is animal, this will be sent to the slaughterhouse, and this is man, he will eat it. No. Actually, Krishna conscious person, he is kind to everyone. Why the animal should be slaughtered? Therefore our philosophy is no meat eating. No meat eating. You cannot. So they will not hear us. What is this nonsense? This is our food. Why shall I not eat? Because Redamana Mada is intoxicated rascal. He will not hear the real fact. Just like in this state, because a man is lying street, poor man, has no help. Can I kill him? Will the state excuse me? No, I have killed one poor man. He had no necessity. There was no need for him in the society. So why should he live? Huh? Will the state excuse me that you have done very nice work? Huh? No. That poor man is also the subject of the citizen of the state. You cannot kill him. Why not expand this philosophy? That the poor animal, or the trees, the birds, beasts, they are also sons of God. You cannot kill. You will be responsible. You will be hanged. Just like by killing one poor man on the street, you will be hanged. Never mind, it is poor. Similarly, in God's eyes, there is no such discrimination. What to speak of God? Even a learned man's vision, there is no such discrimination. This is poor, this is rich, this is black, this is white, this is... No. Everyone is living entity, part and parcel of God. Therefore, Vaishnava is the only benefactor for all the living entities. They try to elevate. A Vaishnava tries to elevate all living entities to the platform of Krishna consciousness. Lokanam hitokarino. Just like Rupa Goswami. Lokanam hitokarino. Tribhuvane manno saranya karo. A Vaishnava has no such view that this is Indian, this is American, this is... somebody questioned me somewhere that why you have come to America. Why not? I shall come. It is, I am servant of God, and this is kingdom of God. Why shall I not come? It is artificial to check me. If you check me, then you commit sinful activities. Just like government servant, police has got right to enter anyone's house. There is no trespass. Similarly, God's servant has got the right to go anywhere. Nobody can check. If he checks, then he will be punished. Because everything belongs to God. So in this way, we have to see things as they are. That is Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is not a crippled idea. Therefore, Kunti says, Janvaisajya sutasri idhumana madapuman. Those who are increasing intoxication. Such person cannot become Krishna conscious. Such person cannot become Krishna conscious. Idhumana, mada, because they are intoxicated. Just like an intoxicated person, he is fully intoxicated and talking nonsense. If somebody says, my dear brother, you are talking nonsense, here is father, here is mother, who cares for it? He is intoxicated. Similarly, all these rascals, intoxicated rascals, if you say, here is God, they cannot understand, because intoxicated. Therefore Kunti says, Tam akinchana gocharam. So, it is a good qualification when one becomes freed from these intoxicants. Janma Ishadya Sudhi, good birth, good opulence, good education, good beauty. They can be used when the same person becomes Krishna conscious, just like you American boys and girls are doing. You are intoxicated, but when the intoxication is over, you are doing better service, Krishna consciousness. Just like when you go to India, they are surprised how these American boys and girls have become so mad after God. Because that teaches them that you rascally learn, because you imitate from the Western countries. Now see, here the Western country boys and girls are dancing in Krishna consciousness. Now imitate. That was my policy. So it is being rectified now. Yeah. So everything can be utilized. Good parentage. If you remain intoxicated, do not utilize it, then it is not very good asset. But you can utilize it for good purpose. If you utilize the asset for Krishna's purpose, it will be better position. The same example, just like zero. Zero has no value. But as soon as you put 1 before 0, it becomes 10 immediately.
Sure.
Immediately 10. Another 0, 100. Another 0, 1,000. Similarly, these Janma Isajya Sutta Sri, so long you remain intoxicated with it, is all 0. But as soon as you put Krishna, it becomes 10, 100, 1,000, millions. Yeah, that is the opportunity. So you have got this opportunity. You American boys and girls, you have got this opportunity. You have got zeros. Put Krishna, you become 10. Yeah, thank you.
Bhakti Vedanta
to you, who are the property of the materially impoverished. You have nothing to do with the actions and reactions of the material modes of nature. You are self-satisfied, and therefore you are the most gentle and are master of the monists.
So, Nava Akinchana Vitta, materially impoverished. This is the first qualification of a devotee. One who does not possess anything of this material world, he simply possesses Krishna. That is Akinchana Vitta. Akinchana means one who has lost everything of material possession. Because if you have got a small tinge of idea that I want to become happy materially in this way, so long you have to accept a body. The nature is so kind that in whichever way you want to enjoy this material world, she will give you a suitable body under the direction of the Lord. The Lord is situated in everyone's heart, so He knows everything, that you still want something material, He will give you. Yes, you take it. Krishna wants that you get full experience that by material gain you will never be happy. This is Krishna's business. There is full freedom. Although you have got minute quantity of freedom, because we are part and parcel of Krishna, Krishna has got full freedom, but the freedom quality is there in me because I am part and parcel of Krishna. The chemical composition. The drop of sea water has got a drop of salt also. Although it is not comparable with the salt containing in the sea water, but the salt chemical is there. This is our understanding. Janmadasya jata. Whatever we have got in minute quantity, the same thing in fullness is there in Krishna, in fullness. Just like Krishna says, Mrityus sarva harascha aham. Now we have got a propensity to take others' thing. You can say it is stealing. We have got that propensity. Why? Krishna has got. Krishna is known as the butter thief, the beginning, the thieving, stealing. So unless that stealing propensity is there, how I can get? But Krishna's stealing and my stealing is different, because I am materially contaminated. Therefore my stealing is abominable. Whereas the same stealing in the spiritual absolute platform is so nice, very enjoyable. Mother Jasoda enjoying the activities of stealing by Krishna. That is the difference. Material and spiritual. Any activity is spiritual, that is all good. And any activity, material, that is all bad. This is the difference. Here the so-called morality, goodness, they are all bad. And in the spiritual level, the so-called immorality is also good. That you have to understand. Just like to dance with others' wife at dead of night. This is immoral. Everyone knows, at least in the Vedic civilization, it's not allowed. A young woman is going to another young man at dead of night to dance with him. This will never be allowed in India. Still, it is private. But we find that all the gopis, as soon as they heard the flute, immediately they came. So, from material conception, it is immoral. But from the spiritual concept, it is the greatest morality. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Ramya Kachid Upasana Brajavadhu Varga Bija Kulpita. Oh, there is no better mode of worship than what was conceived by the Brajavadhus, the damsels of Vrindavan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very strict about women. In his family life also, he never played any joke with women. He was very joking. But all with men, he never played any joke with women, no. Perhaps only once he played joke with his wife, Vishnupriya. When Sachimata was searching after something, he simply played a joking word. Maybe your daughter-in-law has taken it. That is the only joking we find in his whole life. And he was very strict. No woman could come, when he was sannyasi, could come near him to offer the obeisance. They would offer obeisances from a distant place. But he says, Ramya Kachid Upasana Brajavadhu Varga Bija Kulpita. He says that there is no conception of worshipping better than what was conceived by the Brajavadhus. And what was the Brajavadhus' conception? That they wanted to love Krishna at any risk. So this is not immoral. That we have to understand. Anything in relationship, just like Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj is standing and his father is being killed. Is it moral? Would you like to see your father being killed in your presence and you stand, you don't protest? Is that moral? Nobody will approve it, that this is moral. But actually it so happened that Hiranyakashipu was being killed. The picture is here. And Prahlad Maharaj is trying to guard the killer. My dear Lord Killer, you take this garland. You are killing my father. You are very good work. You see? This is spiritual understanding. Nobody will sanction that if you cannot protect your father, you must protest. You must cry that here is my father is being killed, come on, help him. No. He is prepared with the garland. And when he was killed, he said to Nrsimhadev, my dear Lord, now my father is killed, so everyone is happy. You now wind up your angry mood. Nobody is unhappy. He said this very word. Modeto sadhurapi vischikasarpa hatya. Modeto sadhurapi. A sadhu, a saintly person, never approves that one should be killed. Never. Even an animal. A sadhu does not approve. Why animals should be killed? That is sadhu's business. But Prahlad Maharaj says, Modeta sadhurapi. A sadhu, a saintly person, is also pleased when a scorpion or a snake is killed. They are also living entity. A sadhu is never satisfied seeing another living entity being killed. But Prahlad Maharaj says, even a sadhu is pleased when a snake is killed or a scorpion is killed. So my father is just like snake and scorpion. So he is killed, therefore everyone is happy. Everyone. Such demon who simply troubles the devotees, such demon, very dangerous demon. So when such demon is killed, even saintly persons are satisfied. All the saintly persons, they do not want anybody should be killed. Krishna is akinchana vitta. One who has lost everything materially. For him, Krishna is the only solace. So Krishna is so kind that if anyone wants material prosperity and at the same time wants to become a devotee, that is stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that somebody wants me, at the same time he wants material prosperity, he is a fool. He is a fool. Therefore, people are very much afraid coming to Krishna consciousness. Oh, my material prosperity will be finished. Because they do not want that. They want to stick to, generally they go to church, go to temple for material prosperity. God give us our daily bread. This is material prosperity. Or give me this, give me that. But they are also considered as pious because they have approached God. The atheist class, they do not approach. They say, why shall I approach God? I shall create my wealth. By advancement of science, I shall be happy. They are duskritina, most sinful. One who says like that for my prosperity I shall depend on my own strength, my own knowledge. They are duskritina. But one who thinks that my prosperity depends on the mercy of God, they are pious. They are pious. Because after all, without sanction of God, nothing can be achieved. That's a fact. Tavat tanuvridhang tatupekshitana, that is our statement, that we have discovered so many counteracting methods for diminishing our distressed condition. But if it is not sanctioned by God, this counteracting proposition will fail. The example is, just like you have discovered nice medicine, very qualified physician, that's all right. But when a man is sick, ask the physician, can you guarantee the life of this patient? He will never say, no, I can do so. I cannot do that. I try my best. That means the sanction is in the hand of God. I am simply an instrument. If God does not like that you should live, then all my medicine, all my scientific knowledge, medical knowledge will fail. The ultimate sanction is Krishna's. They are the foolish person, they do not know. Therefore they are called Mura, rascals. That whatever you are doing, that is very good. But ultimately, if it is not sanctioned by God, by Krishna, this will be all failure. They do not know that. Therefore they are mooಢas. And a devotee knows that whatever intelligence I have got, I may try to become happy. If Krishna does not sanction, I will never be happy. This is the distinction between devotee and non-devotee. So, Krishna says that anyone who is trying to approach me to become Krishna conscious, at the same time he wants to become materially happy, he is not very intelligent. That means he is wasting his time. Our main business is how to become Krishna conscious. This is the main business of human life. But if we waste our time for material improvement and forget chanting, then that is loss, great loss. So such mentality, Krishna says, Ami bigga tare kano vishay dibo. So this rascal is asking some material prosperity from me by discharging devotional service. Why shall I give him material prosperity? Rather, whatever he has got, I shall take it up. Yes. It is not laughing. When it is taken away, we become very morose. But that is the test. That is stated by Krishna himself to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Jasyaham manigrinnami harisetad dhanam sanai. Yudhishthira Maharaj indirectly inquired from Krishna that we are completely dependent on you and still we are suffering materially so much that our kingdom is taken away, our wife is insulted, you are attempted to be burned in a house. So Krishna said, yes, that is my first business. Jasyaham anugrinnami harise tad dhanam sanai. If I especially favor anybody, then I take away all his sources of income. Very dangerous. Yes. I have got my practical experience in this connection. Yeah. That is Krishna's special favor. I do not wish to narrate, but it is a fact. It is a fact. My Guru Maharaj ordered me when I was 25 years old that you go and preach. But I thought, first of all, I shall become a rich man and I shall use that money for preaching work. So, that's a long history. I got good opportunity for becoming very rich man in business. And some astrologer told me that you should have become like Birla. So there was some chances, very good chances. I was manager in a big chemical factory. I started my own factory. The business was very successful. But everything was dismantled. I was forced to come to this position to carry out my order of my Guru Maharaj. Akinchana Vittaya. When everything was finished, then I took Krishna, that you are the only. Therefore Krishna is Akinchana Vittaya. When one becomes finished of all his material opulences, and now I am realizing that I am not lost, I have gained. I have gained. That's a fact. So, to lose material opulences for Krishna's sake is not loss. It is the greatest gain. Therefore it is said, Akinchana Vitta. When one becomes Akinchana, nothing to possess, everything finished, then Krishna becomes the only riches for for such person because he is devotee. Just like Narottam Das Thakur says, Aha Prabhu Nanda Suta Vrishabhanu Suta Juta Koruna Karaha Eiba. Narottama Daso kahe na ঠেলিও রাঙা পায় তুমি বিনা কে আছে আমার. This position. Krishna, accept yourself. I have nothing to claim. I have nothing, no position. So don't neglect me because you are my only position. This position is very nice. When we do not depend on anything material, simply depend on Krishna. That is first class position of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, Krishna is addressed, Akinchana Vittaya. When one becomes impoverished materially, you are the only wealth. Akinchana Vittaya. Now Akinchana Vittaya. Nirvitta Guna Vittaya. The result is that when one takes you as the only possession, immediately he becomes free from the activities of this material nature. That means immediately he is posted on the transcendental position of the Absolute. Akinchana Vittaya Nirvitta Guna Vittaya Atma Ramaya. At that time, he becomes happy with you. As you are, Krishna, you are happy with yourself. Because Krishna has no difference between body and self. He is simply self, spirit, soul. So, we have got now this body and self. I am self, but I possess this body. Then when actually we become dependent on Krishna, as Krishna is self-satisfied, similarly we can be also self-satisfied with Krishna. Kaivalla Patayi Namaha. The Mayavadi philosophers, they, monists, they want to become one with the Supreme. As Supreme is self-satisfied, they also want to be self-satisfied by becoming one with the Supreme. Our philosophy is also the same, Kaivalla, but we depend on Krishna. We do not become one with Krishna. That is one. If we simply agree to abide by the order of Krishna, there is no disagreement, there is oneness. These Mayavadi philosophers, they think that why shall I keep my individual separate existence? I shall become merged. That is not possible. Because we are created or not created from the very beginning. We are separated part and parcel. We are separated parts and parcel. Therefore Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, my dear Arjuna, you, me, and all these persons who have assembled in this battlefield, we were in the past individuals, we are at present individuals, and in the future we shall continue to remain as individuals. We are all individuals. Nitya Nityanam Chetana Chetanana. He is the Supreme Nitya, Supreme living force amongst many innumerable living forces. We are Jiva, innumerable, Ananta. There is no counting how many we are. So Anantaya Kalpate. So these Ananta, innumerable living entities, and Krishna is also a living entity, but he is the chief. That is the difference. Nitya Nitya, just like there is a leader. Leader is one, and followers, there are many. Similarly, Krishna is the supreme living entity, and We are subordinate, dependent living entities. That is the difference. Dependent we can understand. If Krishna does not supply us food, we starve. That's a fact. We cannot produce anything. Eka jo bahunam vidudhati kaman. So Krishna is maintaining, and we are being maintained. Therefore, Krishna shall be the predominator, and we shall be predominated. That is our natural constitutional position. Therefore, if we want to become predominator falsely in this material world, that is illusion. That we must give up. That we must give up. We shall always try to become predominated by Krishna. That is successful life. Thank you very much.
Go Bhagavata
the eternal time, Ishanam, the Supreme Lord, Anadi Nidhanam, without beginning and end, Vibhum, all pervading, Samam, equally merciful, Charantam, distributing, Sarvatra, everywhere, Bhutanam, of the living beings, Yat Meta, by intercourse, Kali, dissension. Translation. My Lord, I consider your Lordship to be eternal time, the supreme controller, without beginning and end, the all-pervasive one. In distributing your mercy, you are equal to everyone. The dissensions between living beings are due to social intercourse.
In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says exactly the same thing. This is explained by Kunti in devotee. The same thing is spoken by the Lord Himself. Samoham sarvabhuteshu name deshasti na priya. Jetu bhajanti man pritya teshu te mahi. God cannot be partial. That is not possible. Everyone is God's son. So how God can be partial to one son and better than the other son? That is not possible. That is our mistake. We write, we trust in God, but we make discrimination. If you trust in God, then you must be equally kind and merciful to all living entities. That is God consciousness. So, Krishna says that I have no enemies, neither I have got friends. Nami deshasti na priya. Desha means enemy. We are envious of our enemy and we are friendly to our friends. So, Krishna is absolute. Even he appears to be inimical to some demon, actually he is friend. When a demon is killed, that means his demonic activities are killed. He becomes a saint immediately. Otherwise, how he is promoted immediately to the Brahma Jyoti. All these demons who are killed by Krishna, they immediately merge into the Brahma Jyoti, Nirvishesh. The only difference is, of course, the Brahma Jyoti, Paramatma and Bhagavan, they are one. Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattam, that is one truth, absolute truth, in different features only. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti Shabdati. Originally, Bhagavan, his primary representation is Paramatma, who is situated in everyone's heart. Ishvara sarvabhutanam riddeshu arjuna tishtati. The plenary portion, Kirodokshai Vishnu, he is in everyone's heart. That is Paramatma. And Brahma, Paramatma and Bhagavan. The ultimate issue is Bhagavan. So, je yathanam vibhadanti, Now he is equal to everyone. It is up to the devotees or persons who are trying to understand the Supreme Absolute Truth according to their capacity of understanding the Absolute Truth. God is revealed either as impersonal Brahma or localized Paramatma or Bhagavan. It is up to me. The same example as I have repeated many times, it's like we see sometimes the hills from our room. Here there are many hills in Los Angeles. But they are not distinct. When you are seeing the hills from a distant place, it looks like something cloudy. But if you go still farther towards the hill, you will distinctly find that there is something hill. And if you come to the hill, then you will find so many persons are walking there, so many houses are there. There are streets, motor cars, everything, all varieties. So similarly, when one wants to know the Absolute Truth by his teeny brain, I shall make research to find out the Absolute Truth, then you will have vague idea, impersonal idea. And if you become a meditator, then you will find that God is situated within your heart. Dhyanavastita tadgatena manasa pasyanti jam yogina. The yogis, the real yogis, they, by meditation, they see Vishnu Murti within the heart. And those are devotees, they meet the Supreme Person face to face. It's like we are meeting face to face. Talk face to face. And serve directly. The Supreme Personality of Godhead orders that you supply me this, and he supplies. That is the difference. So, Samoham Sarvabhutesi, he is equal to everyone. Now it is up to you to understand him according to your capacity. So Kunti also says the same thing in this verse. Samam charantam sarvatra. Samam charantam. Charantam means moving. He's moving everywhere, outside, inside. Simply, we have to make our eyes clear to see him. That is devotional service. To make our senses purified, to perceive the presence of God. God is present everywhere. Antar bahi. Antar means within, and bahi means without. Those who are less intelligent, they simply try to find out God within. And those who are advanced in intelligence, they can see within and without. That is the difference. Meditation is meant for the less intelligent class of men. Meditation means you have to control the senses. Yoga practice means yoga indriya samyam. Our senses are very restless. By yoga practice, by practicing different asana, so mind is controlled. The senses are controlled. Then we can concentrate upon the form of Vishnu within our heart. That is yoga system. Or those who are too much in bodily concept of life, for them the yoga system is recommended, practicing the bodily exercise and find out the Supreme Lord within the heart. But bhaktas, those are devotees, they are still more advanced. They don't require to control their senses separately, because to be engaged in devotional service means controlling the senses. Suppose you are engaged in worshipping the deity, in cleansing the room, in decorating the deity, in making foodstuff for deity, everything nicely, so your senses are already engaged. Where is the chance of your senses being diverted? The senses are already controlled. Because my senses, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhaktirichyate. Bhakti means simply to engage the senses in the service of this master of the senses. Rishikesh means master of the senses. And Rishik means senses. Now our senses are engaged for sense gratification. Sarvapadhi, the upadhi yukta. So I am this body, so I must satisfy my senses. This is the contaminated stage of life. But when one comes to the understanding that I am not this body, I am spirit, soul, part and parcel of God, so my senses, spiritual senses, should be engaged in the service of the Supreme Spiritual Being. That is one. That is mukti. Mukti means hitva unnatha rupam. When we are conditioned, we give up our original constitution position. Our original constitution position is, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jiver Sarup Hoy Nitya Krishna Das. Our original constitutional position is that we are eternal servant of Krishna. So as soon as we employ ourselves in the service of the Lord, immediately we become liberated. Immediately. There is no question of passing through some process. This very process to engage oneself, engage one's senses in the service of the Lord means he is liberated. So this liberation is open for everyone. Samang charantam. Krishna does not say that you come to me, you become liberated. No, he is open for everyone. He says, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam saranam vraja. He speaks to everyone, not that he is speaking to Arjuna only. He is speaking to everyone. Bhagavad Gita is spoken not only for Arjuna. Arjuna is just like the target. But it is spoken for everyone, for all human beings. So one has to take advantage. Samang charantam is not partial, that you become just like the sunshine. The sunshine is not partial, that here is a poor man, here is a low class man, here is a hawk, I shall not distribute my shining there. No, sun is equal. One has to take advantage of it. The sunshine is there open. But if you close your door, if you want to keep yourself in airtight darkness, that is your business. Similarly, Krishna is everywhere. Krishna is for everyone. Krishna is ready to accept you as soon as you surrender. Samang Chanatan. There is no restriction. Krishna says, Mang hi partha vapasritya jipishu papajuna. They make distinction that this is lower class, this is higher class. The Krishna says even lower class, so-called lower class, it doesn't matter. If he takes to me, then he is also eligible to come back to home, back to God. Samang charantam. And he is the eternal time. Everything is going on within the time. The time, our time calculation is past, present and future. This is relative. The other day we were discussing. This past, present, future is relative term. For a small insect, the past, present and future is different from my past, present and future. Relative term. Similarly, Brahma's past, present and future is different from my past, present and future. But Krishna has no past, present and future. Therefore he is eternal. We have got past, present and future because we change this body. Now we have got this body, it has got a date. In such and such date I was born by my father and mother. Now this body will stay for some time. It will grow, it will produce some byproduct, then it will become old, then dwindle, then finish. No more this body. We accept another body. This body is finished. The history of this body, past, present, future, finished. You accept another body, again your past, present, future begins. But Krishna has no past, present, future because he does not change his body. That is the difference between ourselves and Krishna.